Hello and welcome to Online Marketing 101, Step 4. Welcome back to Step 4 in creating your client conversation with finding your authentic voice and telling your story. I think this is actually one of my favorite steps in the whole course. And I hope you spent some time working on Step 3 because that was a big one. And don't you now have a much better and much more focused idea of what your strengths and weaknesses are and how you're positioned in your target market? Now is when we start to create a marketing message we call your client conversation by telling your story in your own authentic way. The goal of the client conversation is to engage your prospective client in a way that establishes you as the authority and builds trust and rapport and talks about your service's strengths and overcomes any weaknesses or objections. The result is to convert advertising dollars to a happy client with a reliable and predictable ROI. That's return on investment. The strategy is to unify your message across all your online marketing assets, like your website, social media, and while using automated email marketing, so you provide a lot of value during the buying experience. You do this by engaging your prospective client in a conversation that offers insight about solving their core issues. The overall foundation to the conversation is to talk about how your solution uniquely solves your customer's core issues. This is where you start using the intelligence you picked up in the last 3 steps. If you haven't finished them, make sure you go back before you do this step, or you're going to be shortchanging the whole process. When you're creating your message for a marketing campaign, it should start with understanding your customer's core problems, issues, or struggles, and then offer your unique solution to their problem in a way that adds value to them or gets them to think differently about their issue in a more positive way. This means you need to give them something that they value, like offering them some key insight or teaching them something that they need to know that's going to really help them. Remember, your conversation is not about your modality or your service features, but about how they solve your client's core issues and gets them to think about their problem in a way they haven't thought of before. So how do you do that? Well, here are some smaller steps that will help walk you through the process of creating your client conversation. First off, creating your persona is one of the most important steps in creating your client conversation. If you think about the conversation in 2 parts, what you say and how you say it. Your persona is the how you say it, or the personality your customer will identify with or not. The what you say is the content or topics you'll talk about. For most, the magic comes when you find your authentic voice and develop your persona as the one you really are, with the good, the bad, and the ugly. So people buy from people they like and identify with, and you cannot be everything to everyone. So don't even try. On an energetic level, people buy from people they resonate with, which is why the law of attraction is just as powerful in business as it is in life. This is why we started out this training with the steps on understanding your why, or your intentions, and then understanding your customer's needs. To have this kind of relationship, you need to be as clear about your persona as you are about your client persona. If you're not, I'd recommend going back to the worksheet on client persona and fill it out for yourself. This can be a lot of fun, as you may realize things about yourself you haven't consciously thought about for a long time. So here's the action step. Once you become very clear about your persona, I want you to develop your story that you want to share with your clients and prospects. This is your story that you'll share with your clients and should include your intentions, your why, and your vision for your practice and service offering. Your story will be the foundation for your client conversation, so it's really important that you spend some time on this. Several things that you're going to want to keep in mind as you develop your story is that people identify with your strengths as well as your weaknesses or your flaws. In fact, people tend to bond with other people's challenges or character flaws more than your successes. So be real and be honest about yourself, and people will either be attracted to you or be repelled by you. So if you think about it, some of the best commercial personas, they're very polarizing. You tend to either love them or hate them, and that's what makes them so effective. So the law of attraction thought for telling your story. You are the creator of your experience, and you must create your experience deliberately if you're to have the joyful experience that you were meant to have. And so it's really helpful if you begin right now to tell the story of your business the way you want it to be rather than the way it has been, because telling it the way it's been only holds you in that holding pattern of attraction. So tell your story as you dream it to be, and see how the universe will conspire to see that everything that is necessary for the fulfillment of your desires is lovingly and harmoniously drawn to you. When presenting your story, there are some tried and true character storylines that businesses use successfully and have different uses. Here are my favorite 6 basic storylines for you to consider. The comeback. We love the comeback as this is the classic storyline that so many people can identify with because it rings true to their own life. It's the story that's so close to my own, as I've been up and I've been down several times, only to pick myself up and discover something new about myself that brought me to a higher level. In fact, after the real estate crash where we lost everything, my wife and I would regularly say that we believe in comebacks. And we did make a great comeback. So now we're better than ever. And there are just many examples of this great storyline, like the story of Jesus' crucifixion and the resurrection. Like in Jesus' story, a lot of people identify with the crucifixion, but really the story is about the comeback. That's why he's known for saying, I am the resurrection and the light, not I am the crucifixion. So most movies, though, have this basic storyline as the main character starts out going great, and then some tragedy happens that brings him to near death, only to rise and conquer the demons and, of course, get the girl. So I love Westerns, and my favorite Western writer is Louis L'Amour. In just about all his books, he follows the same storyline, as the character, usually a cowboy, becomes down on his luck. But he has a big dream, and through many fights and conflicts with the big ranchers in the area, he ultimately prevails, and he gets the ranch of his dreams, and the girl that he hated at first, but now he falls in love with. So I know what's coming, but I still love it. It's crazy. So the next one is Now and Then. This is a story of transformation and can be used in many different industries. It starts out with the problem or the issue, and then they use your product and the transformation. This is easily seen in the weight loss market. I was obese, then I took this pill, and now I'm thin. Well, I wasn't exactly obese, and I didn't take any pills, but I have lost 40 pounds, so I thought this would be a good example. Now and then. So the next one is It Happened to Me, So It Can Happen to You. This is a big one too for us because we use this a lot. And it's something that people really identify with. So these stories help people believe that the answer they've been searching for is finally here. It starts with an amazing discovery that you've been searching for and now available. It's made all the difference in your life. The basic concept that people identify with is that if it happened to you, it can happen to them too. So the next one is The Secret. This was really popular several years ago, as it seemed to be everything was a secret. There was even a book and a whole personal development movement titled The Secret, and that was used to market the concept of the law of attraction, which, as you know, is a foundational belief for us. So everyone loves to find out what the secret is, and it creates a powerful curiosity that draws the customer into your story. And the next one is the third-party testimonial. Using your story as a third-party testimonial can be effective, as well as using other people's success stories about your service. People always like hearing real successes, and when they're true, you can make claims that would otherwise get you in trouble. I used this storyline when I was selling PMF devices, and that it helped my 30-year back pain. After 30 years of chronic pain, and I tried just about everything, I healed my back with PMF, and now I'm pain-free. It was true, and it was a great storyline, and combined with it happened to me so it can happen to you, it was really powerful. And as you can see, a whole industry has been developed by testimonials with TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor literally makes or breaks restaurants and all kinds of businesses, and it is based on the third-party testimonial, and it's really powerful. So the last one is the underdog. Last but not least, one of my favorites. You may not be old enough, but one of my favorite cartoons was the underdog. Everyone loves to see the underdog come out on top. So this doesn't need a lot of explanation, as everyone knows about the underdog. David versus Goliath, Rocky, sports are filled with them, like the 1980 U.S. hockey team and their victory over the seemingly invincible Russian squad. And what about the Cubs? I love them, and you love them. Who doesn't? If you can be the role of the underdog, it's a great storyline. So these are just some of the basic storylines that are so successful. You can use them alone or combine several of them. The key is to have a story that shows who you really are and will attract your customer persona. So get started on getting really clear about your persona, and then create a great story that you'll love telling your best clients. But be easy on yourself. Sometimes this needs to percolate a little and will come to you when you're doing something else. So if you get stuck, just be in the moment and access your inspiration from your heart, not your head. I know Sherry sometimes gets a lot of revelations in the shower, and I seem to too. I guess it's just something about being away and stop thinking about it. So the biggest thing to do is start, and don't be a perfectionist, and don't procrastinate. This is a work in progress, and it can always be changed. But most importantly, have fun with it. This is really a really exciting exercise, and it's going to be something that you are going to use for a long, long time. And thanks a lot.